Good morning, Year 6. We are at Friday and today we are publishing your retell of the amazing animation, The Lighthouse. You know this story really well by now. We have studied it all week and yesterday you edited your draft ready to publish today. So just a reminder of how you can edit your work from yesterday. I have taken a piece of writing that I edited yesterday. However, we don't just stop there, we want to edit it even further. So I'm going to take one of the sentences and up-level it a little bit further. So I have got, stumbling over the final step, he could see the problem, a huge problem. I want to add to this end bit. So here, instead of a full stop, I want to use a dash instead. So I'm going to edit that. I also want to add to the end of my writing because I don't think I explained what the problem was fully. So I am going to add to the end of my writing in purple pen before I begin today, a huge problem. Before him, the light lay in pieces, shattered pieces. So I'm using a short sentence again. Tiny fragments of the glass littered the floor. The light was useless. So really making it clear to my reader the real trouble that the lighthouse keeper is in now, the complete uselessness of the light. It can't be very quickly fixed. They're in tiny fragments on the floor, which makes the tension build in our story as our reader begins to think, what on earth is he going to do? It's not just one little piece that's gone a little bit wrong, it is the whole light in pieces. So it's a really big problem. So that is one example of how you could edit your work. I changed some punctuation in my dash and I also added some extra information onto the end. I would also be checking my spellings and my capital letters and up-leveling any vocab I needed to. Remember, when you are publishing, you should be using these success criteria and these are your targets for your published writing Year 6. So, using by the end of Year 6, which is where we are now, as many of these as you can. You should be using almost all of them, if not all. Trying to show off your spelling abilities with some of your spelling patterns. And if you are aiming for greater depth, which many of you are, then you should be including some of your greater depth standards as well. You might want to use things like varied tense in this piece, so you could flick between different tenses. You also need to use really high-level, ambitious vocabulary for the correct purpose and audience. So you wouldn't use really formal language here because it's a narrative, but you also wouldn't use really informal language. However, if you choose to put any dialogue into your writing today, between the villagers, for example, you might want to use quite informal language because they're in a rush, they're in a panic, they're not going to be speaking in full sentences. You can also use complex adverbial openings to show your greater depth standards this week. So make sure you pause the video on this page and keep referring back to your Year 6 standards to ensure that you include as many as you can. We would love to read your writing, so make sure, as you should every day, you are sending your writing to your teacher so they can see your beautiful published work. The best pieces of published work will be put on our class stories on Class Dojo and on the website as well to show everyone how wonderful you are at writing.